I heard her through the half-closed door, a whisper sharpened by greed, clean as a blade. Tomorrow, everything's mine. The old fool thinks I actually love him. Her voice, my bride, speaking to her mother as if planning a quiet burial. I didn't move, didn't breathe, just listened as the veil of illusion I had worn like a second skin tore down the middle. Her mother laughed, low, triumphant. Make sure he signs the final papers tonight. Sentimental men are easiest right before the vows. A tremor ran across my ribs, subtle, like the first ripple of a storm under still water. I pressed 2 fingers against my pulse, feeling its steady climb. I should have walked in, should have demanded an explanation, but I didn't. I stepped back, slow, controlled, as if retreating from a crime scene where I hadn't yet decided whether I was victim, witness, or executioner. Outside, the hall lights flickered. Someone rehearsed music downstairs. People laughed, oblivious. But I stood alone in the corridor, 1 hour before the wedding, with the truth whispering like frost against my ear. I thought I'd misheard, thought the stress had twisted her words, thought love couldn't fracture so suddenly. Yet the echo clung to me. The old fool. I closed my eyes, and I smiled. Not from joy, but from clarity. Something inside me had just awakened, cold, steady, razor bright. Whatever the wedding meant before, it meant nothing now. But I would go through with it, and she would never see the moment I stopped being hers. Only the moment she became mine to ruin. I walked into the ceremony with a face carved from calm. Guests saw devotion in my expression. They mistook stillness for affection. They always did. Only I knew the fracture beneath. As she approached, white dress, perfect poise, I watched her eyes. She carried the confidence of someone who believed the world was already in her pocket. Someone who thought contracts mattered more than conscience. I remembered the first night we talked about the future. She'd held my hand like she needed it to breathe. Now I saw it. Every touch had been choreography, every glance a calculation. When she reached me, she squeezed my fingers, warm and reassuring, but I felt nothing. Just a quiet realization settling deeper, heavier. Her vows trembled with practiced emotion. Mine were steady because they were hollow. I watched her search my face for tenderness, as if she needed the reassurance that her performance was working. And it was, for everyone but me. After the ceremony, after the applause and clinking glasses, she leaned into my shoulder, pretending devotion, while her mother watched approvingly from a distance. I replayed her earlier words in my head until they became a steady hum beneath her laughter. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Suspicion is a seed. Truth is the bloom. And I intended to watch it open slowly. The first week of marriage passed like a quiet autopsy. She smiled, kissed me, told me she loved me. I nodded, worked, watched. At night when she slept, I reviewed bank accounts, property titles, her messages, the small inconsistencies in her stories, the subtle panic when I asked casual questions, the late-night calls she muted before answering. Every detail threaded together, weaving a tapestry of deceit. I wasn't angry. Anger is messy, unfocused. I was awake. 2 weeks in, I took a quiet afternoon off work and visited the attorney who had drafted the prenuptial agreements. Documents she believed were complete, binding, final. What she didn't know, there was a second set, my set. She never asked to read the final version I signed. She assumed, and assumptions are where betrayal loses its edge. I noticed her patterns, the way she guarded her phone, the way she tested my reactions with soft, probing comments about trust, loyalty, long-term stability. She was checking the foundation before she burned the house down. At dinner one night, she excused herself to make a call on the balcony. Her voice was faint, but not faint enough. Soon. He won't see it coming. I lifted my glass, watched her silhouette behind the glass door, watched her plan my ruin with the same tenderness she used to kiss me goodbye. It was almost admirable. Almost. The truth arrived on a Tuesday morning in a slim envelope. Financial audits, message transcripts, legal confirmations. Everything I had quietly arranged, tracked, documented. Proof that she had never intended a life with me, only an acquisition. I set the papers on the kitchen table and waited. She walked in wearing silk and confidence. "What's that?" she asked. "Your future," I said. She frowned, picked up the first page, and I watched the blood drain from her face. She skimmed the second, the third, her breathing turning jagged. You misunderstand." "No," I said softly. "I finally understand everything." Her hands shook as she dropped the papers. I can explain." "I know," I replied. "That's why I'm not interrupting." She stepped closer, desperation cracking her tone. "I didn't mean any of it. I was confused. My mother, she—" I watched her crumble. Cold, silent, unmoved. She fell into a chair, gripping her hair, as if the truth itself were too heavy for her spine. And still, I felt nothing. Just the quiet shift of power settling back into my hands. When she finally lifted her face, eyes red and wild, I placed the final document in front of her, her signature already printed at the bottom. She stared. What is this?" "The real prenup," I said. "The one we actually signed. The one my lawyer finalized." "This isn't—" She flipped the pages desperately. "This isn't what I agreed to." "It's exactly what you agreed to. You just didn't read it." Her mouth trembled. "But the property—" "All mine. The accounts? Mine." Her voice cracked. "You tricked me." I leaned back, folding my hands calmly. "No," I said. "You tricked yourself. I simply allowed you to keep digging." She tried to stand, then sank again, legs failing her. "You married me from nothing," I said quietly. "And now you leave with exactly that." Her face collapsed. Fear, disbelief, humiliation blending into something raw. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Revenge isn't fire. It's frost. Slow, precise, final. She left the house that evening with a suitcase and a broken narrative. I watched from the doorway as she walked down the path, unsteady, her mother's voice echoing uselessly through her phone. I didn't call after her, didn't offer comfort. She had gambled everything on a lie, and lost. Inside, the silence felt different, cleaner somehow, as if the air itself had been wrung free of pretense. I sat at the table where she had once practiced her smiles and whispered her strategies. The papers lay exactly where she dropped them. Her handwriting looked smaller now, weaker. I touched the edge of the document, not with triumph, with certainty. Some truths don't need celebration, only acknowledgement. I stood, turned off the lights, and walked out of the room, closing the door softly behind me. A door is a powerful thing when it stays shut, and this one would stay shut forever.